Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about lesson 10, Saxon, third edition, Algebra 1. We're on lesson 10 on page 48. Today we're going to be talking about dividing by zero, multiplying a whole bunch of numbers, and unit conversions. If you're planning on going into chemistry or physics, this is something you're going to need. Also, it's got some real world applications, which are really helpful. So first things first, if we have 0 over 13. Remember, fractions are really just part over whole, right? Part over whole. If I have a pizza and I've cut it into 13 slices, but I give you 0 of them, not only am I very mean, it doesn't matter how many slices I cut it into. If I cut it into 4 slices and I gave you none. If I cut it into 7 slices and I gave you none. This means that it's all 0. 0 over anything is just 0, okay? But let's talk about what happens in reverse. If I have 13, if I have a pizza and I slice it into 0 slices, that's not even possible, right? You would have to have at least 1 in order to slice it, right? So that's not possible. It doesn't even matter that there are 13, I'm gonna give you 13 slices of my pizza that's divided by 0 that exists, but doesn't? I don't really know. What that means is there is a term in math that we absolutely hate. This is it, undefined. Worst possible thing you can be in math, undefined. 13 divided by 0, that is undefined. Guys, you can't write 0 as your answer. Undefined, spelling. You can't write 0 as your answer because that's incorrect. These, totally okay for 0. This, totally not, okay? It's undefined. You gotta write the word out, undefined. Okay, another thing that we're gonna talk about today are multiplying a whole bunch of numbers. If I give you, I gotta make up an example here, -4 times 3 times -6 times -2. Here's how you should do this. Take a look at the negatives, right? Those guys. If there are an even number of negatives, and guys, if I did not say this, you need to have your notebook out, your binder or your notes or wherever you take your notes. Y'all need to be writing down everything that I'm doing so that you can go back and reference it, okay? So make sure you're taking notes. So if you have an even number of negatives, the answer with multiplication, in multiplication, if you have an even number of negatives, answer, positive, okay? If you have an odd number of negatives, the answer is going to be negative, okay? So take a look at my example that I have up here. Make sure you write that down. This is why I like videos, because I can get ahead of myself and all you have to do is pause it and copy things down. All right, so take a look up here. We have 1, we're only multiplying. This does not work if you do addition. Multiplication, we have 1, 2, 3 negatives, 3, good, great math teacher, guys. 3 is odd, so odd is negative, so our answer is gonna be negative. Now we've got the sign out of the way, we don't have to worry about it, right? What we're gonna do is multiply all these numbers together, right? So we know that this is gonna be 12, this is gonna be, so it's gonna be -12, right? Times -6 times -2. -12 times -6 is 72, positive 72 times -2. All right, the reason why I'm showing you this is because if I did it like this, if I did, right, way too big. If I did 4 times, so from up here, -4 times -2 times -6 times positive 3. And say it this way. This is 8, this is 18, right? -18. 8 times -18 gives me oh no, 70, no. Math is hard. No, this is -144. I just realized I ADD'd out and forgot to answer that one. Oh, and I'm off the deal here. So this is this is positive 8, this is -18. Positive times negative is negative. 8 times 18, -144. Guys, basically I'm just showing you this. You can multiply in any order. We call that the commutative property. I call it the any gosh darn order property. It's the same thing, right? Commutative, who's gonna remember that? Any gosh darn order, you can totally do that. Same with addition. 7 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 7. Okay, so The big thing I wanted you to take away from there is if there are an odd number of negatives when you're multiplying, you're gonna get a negative number. If there are an even, you're gonna get positive. Okay, now let's talk on unit conversions. This is a big one, okay? We are going to talk, so if we go back for a quick refresher, right? If I wanted to, that was dreadful. What am I doing? That's why I don't teach geometry, I can't draw anything. All right, so if I wanted to draw this rectangle, and I put this over here, let's say that this is my garden, right? And this side is 7 feet, and this is, I don't know, 10 feet, okay? If I wanted you to find the perimeter of it, you would add up all those sides, right? If I wanted you to find the area, you would take this and you'd multiply it by this. Guys, 7 feet times 10 feet equals, this times this gives us 70, and then feet times feet gives us feet squared. So you probably see that, like if you go to the Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and you have to buy flooring for your house, they say, oh, we sell it by the square foot, right? That's the same thing, feet squared, square foot, same thing. But it's feet times feet gives me feet squared, right? Here's why this is important. We're gonna be doing a unit conversion. I wanna show you just a quick unit conversion. All right, let me back up and talk about this. You don't have to write this part down. I am allowed, if I take 3 and I multiply it by 1, I get 3. If I take -5 and I multiply it by 1, I get -5, right? Smiley face times that by 1, I get a smiley face, okay? This is also called an identity property, but you don't need to remember that part. What you do need to remember is that we can multiply anything by 1. Anything by 1, okay? So we're allowed to do that. Think about that as I do this. If I have 3 over 3, that equals 1. 7 over 7 equals 1. -15 over -15 equals 1. Smiley face over smiley face, 1, okay? So on these guys, I'm allowed to multiply anything by 1, and as long as the top and the bottom are equal, they're equal to each other, it equals 1, right? So this is what allows us to do unit conversions. For example, let's see if I do, I gotta think, I hate making problems up on my own. Let's say I do 27 yards, and I want to convert that into inches. Okay, 27, I take up the whole book. All right, 27 yards, let me make sure that's in there. 27 yards, 2 inches. Here's how you do this, okay? You take 27 yards, we're gonna write that over here. 27 yards over 1. All right, so if something is in the top of a fraction and in the bottom of a fraction, it matches, right? We can cross those out. That means, do you see how this is yards here? It's up at the top, I gotta throw it down here in the bottom to make that work. So this is yards, okay? I wanna go from yards to inches, so I need to go down, feet. Side note, write this down in like the margin, okay? There are 12 inches in a foot, guys, and you can Google like a conversion chart and print that out if that's helpful. You know, I think I turned the focus off on this thing earlier. Hold on one sec. I did, my bad, sorry. So 12 inches is in 1 foot. I should put 1 here, 1 foot. There are 3 feet in a yard. Guys, we use this terrible system. The metric system is so much easier, but I just wanna go with this for right now. There are 50 to 80 feet in 1 mile. Those are all important ones. This is all distance. We also deal with liquids, right? Volume. But for right now, just you need to have those off and to the side, okay? All right, so keeping that all in mind, I'm allowed to multiply anything by 1, right? I gotta make this thing equal 1. Well, I know that in 1 yard, there are 3 feet. That equals 1, right? Those are the equivalent of each other. So this is gonna cancel out with this because I got 1 on top and 1 on bottom. What I'm left with on top, and I'm not gonna do the math part of it, I'm just gonna show you how you should write it. I've got 27 times 3. 27 times 3, right? On the bottom, I have 1 times 1, which as far as fractions go, we don't write 1 on the bottom, right? But for units, I have feet. So there is our answer. Of course, now at this point, you're gonna wanna multiply it. I don't even know where my calculator is. 27 times 3. We get 81. So we end up with 81 feet. I'm always off the board. 81 feet, okay? So that's just a quick down and dirty on how you do unit conversions. But today we're gonna talk about unit conversions with area. So let's go back to that part where I said, oh, hey, we had 70 feet squared, right? Feet squared. What we're gonna convert now is, I'm on page 49, I'm at the top of the page there. And we wanna write, I'm looking for a problem, hold on. Example, there it is. Example 10.5, use 2 unit multipliers to convert 44 square inches, I'm gonna abbreviate that like this, to square centimeters. Oh, so we're going right into metric. So into square centimeters, I cannot even write today. Square centimeters. All right, guys, so another, where I just told you to write all the things down like 3 feet in a yard. The other one you wanna write in there is that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, okay? That's when we're converting between stupid American system and the metric system. The other one is the Fahrenheit. When you have to convert between Fahrenheit and Celsius, we are like the only country on the entire planet that uses Fahrenheit. We should just adopt Celsius. Okay, so we're gonna convert this, right? So we start with this number. Here's how you do these problems. You start with this number, 44 inches, not inches plain, it's inches squared. So we're gonna do inches times inches. We always put that over 1, okay? Now we're gonna multiply that by a conversion factor. That's what this is called, a conversion factor. I have inches here, I need to put inches here. We know that there are, in 1 inch, there are 2.54 centimeters, 2.5. So this equals 1, right? Because they're the same thing. This cancels out this, but you guys, I have to do it again because I have this here. So I have now 2.54, and because because inches is on top here, I need to put inches on the bottom here so I can cancel those out. So 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. All this equals, and I ran out of room, but you can do it all on one line if you want. So the next part we're gonna do is across the top, cancel this inch, okay? Across the top we have 44. We have 2.54 times, right, because that's our times, 54, and then 2.54 again, okay? On the bottom, we just have 1, so we're good. We don't have to do anything there. But on the top, we also have centimeters and centimeters. So our units are centimeters squared, because there's 2 of them, okay? Then do the math on that. You don't have to do that right now. I know you guys know how to use a calculator. So let's try another one. Use 4 unit multipliers to convert 125 square centimeters, so centimeters squared, to feet squared, to squared feet. All right, we start by doing 125 centimeter, it's 2 times centimeter times centimeter over 1, okay? We're gonna use a bunch of ones. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go from centimeters to inches and then from inches to feet, right? So, I'm not gonna have enough room. It's gonna be tricky. 125 centimeters times centimeters over 1. Times that by, I need something that equals 1 with the centimeter on the bottom because I want to be able to cancel those. 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. All right, this cancels out this, but I got to do it one more time. So I have centimeters up here, so I got to put centimeters down here. Same thing, 2.54 and 1 inch, okay? And so this cancels out with this. But guys, we don't want to go to just inches, right? We need to go to feet. So this is why we have to use I don't know how cameras work. All right, so we have to do 4 unit multipliers. So now we're gonna do another one. I wanna get rid of inches and it's on the top, so I need to throw that in the bottom here. I wanna go to feet. I need something that makes this all equal 1. If I do 1 inch and 12 feet, that doesn't work, right? It's like, 12 feet? No, not 1 inch. So you gotta correct yourself. This is why I always do the unit part first and then throw numbers in. Instead, it should be 12 inches in 1 foot, but I have to do it twice, right? Because this cancels out with this. Now I gotta do it again. I have inches up here, so I need to put inches on the bottom here, okay? That means I'm gonna have 12 here and 1 foot. This cancels out with this, bam. Next step. We take everything on top. We've got 125 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Well, that's 125, beautiful. On the bottom, we have 2.54 times 2.54 times 12 times 12. We got all of this, right? I'll center that 125 here. Then when you look at the bottom, we have no units left there, but we have feet here, so we have feet squared. Now guys, I'm not gonna make you do all the math, right? We would multiply all this stuff together and then we would take this and divide it by this. I'm not gonna make you multiply all of it because I think when your parents go to check this, and you may have to help them with this part, is I gotta go back and look, but I think it's all in, it just looks like this. We know you know how to use a calculator, right? We just wanna make sure you can do the unit conversions. So if you leave it like this, that's fine. If you put it into decimal form, that's fine too. Okay, so what I would like you to do now, again, I'm on page 49, lesson 10. Go to the practice section, pause the video, go to the practice section, see if you can't do those practice problems, and then come on back. All right, guys, so the practice problems are going to be for A, -3 minus 2 over -2 plus 8 minus 6, all right? We don't subtract, we add the opposite, right? Add the opposite, add the opposite, okay? Up top, they're on the same team, I get -5. On the bottom, I get this, and this is 8 plus -8 equals -5, and then on the bottom, I get 0, which of course we cannot have, right? We cannot have 0. This is not 0, this is undefined. If you wrote 0, scratch that out and pretend I didn't see it. Don't show it to me. All right, so undefined, right? So let's look at B. We have -8 plus 6 plus 2 over 8 minus 4 minus 4 minus 4. Add the opposite, add the opposite. Again, we get -8 plus 8 over 8 plus -8, right? That's going to equal 0 over 0. In this case, this does equal 0 because it's nothing. We're existing on nothing. Okay, so that was A and B. Let's look at C. C is -4, -1, -4. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. So that's going to be a positive answer. And this guy, remember right here, this is a 1. So make sure you think of that as a 1. 4 times 4 is 16, times 1 times 1, positive 16. All right, D. I got 2, -6, 10, -2. I've got 1, 2, that's an even amount, so it's gonna be positive. I'm gonna do this times this is 4, right? Times 6 is 24, times 10 is 240. See how I did that so that it made it a little bit easier? All right. E, use 2 unit multipliers to convert 44 square miles, I'm gonna write miles squared like this, to feet squared. All right, so we're gonna do 44 miles over 1 times, miles are gonna need to go in the bottom here. So miles, and I need it to equal 1, so I'm going to feet, right? So in 1 mile, there are 5280 feet. This cancels out this, but I've got to do it again. So 5280 feet and 1 mile. This cancels out this, and on the top, I'm left with 44. 5280. 5280. And on the bottom, just ones, right? So we don't need to worry about that. Feet, I get feet squared. Okay, feet squared. Excellent work. All right, let's look at F. Use 2 unit multipliers to convert 3,500 centimeters squared to meters squared. All right, so let's talk about the metrics system really quick. You should go back and we're gonna write these guys down. There are 100 centimeters. And I gotta pause this and just double check because I'm gonna make a mistake, so. Okay, so I don't know why I second guess myself on that all the time, but 100 centimeters. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so write that down in your little notes conversion section. There are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. 1 kilometer, I forgot the 1 part, okay? So knowing that, let's go back up here. We have 3,500 centimeters over 1. I want to get rid of the centimeters, so they're going to go down here on the bottom. I'll do both of them at the same time. So I need to go from centimeters to meters, right? So already I can knock these guys out. All right, so in where does the 1 go? Well, if I put 1 here and 100, or oh, I'm sorry, 1,000 here, that wouldn't work, right? Or 100, what am I looking at? If that wouldn't work, it would be 100 meters, 1 centimeter, centimeters are tiny. So you gotta be real careful about that. In 1 meter though, there are 100 centimeters. In 1 meter, 100 centimeters. So again, you're gonna write this like this. 3,500 over 100, 100 meters squared, meters, okay? I do like the metric system because this is easier, so I'm gonna solve this all the way. It's 100 times 100 is just 1 with 4 zeros, right? All right, 3,500, and then 1 with 4 zeros, right? So you can, if nobody's ever shown you this, you can lob off zeros here. So what this really is 35 over 100, 35 over 100. The deal with the metric system is that, let me scooch this up a little. Okay, so the deal, so meters squared, this becomes 35 over 100 meters squared. Anything over 100, we can just move the decimal, right? So it's just 0.35 meters squared. So the metric system is a lot easier, but you'll get used to both of them. All right, that was F. All right, guys, that's it for this lesson. So go ahead and do the assignment, the problem set, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much.